know which son?
Well, Jesse does have a lot of sons, so first, when I was looking through the window, I saw his oldest son run up to him. He's really tall, he's huge, and he's handsome. I was pretty for sure he was going to pick him, but he didn't. So he called another son, and he called another son, and he kept saying, Samuel was like, nope, nope, until, you know what happened?
What?
He asked for the youngest son.
Really? Because usually it's the other way around.
I know, for some reason, Samuel said, do you have another son? Jesse said, yes, he's out. So I saw him tear out. He went out in the field, found David, and came back. And David was with the sheep, and he was a little smelly. He hadn't showered yet, so I guess that happened.
So, what happened after David saw Samuel?
Well, he got this thing out of his pocket, and at first I'm like, what is he going to do? Hit him? What is he going to do? No, he poured this big thing of oil, and he poured it over top of David's head. And he anointed him. Back in the Bible times, they did this a lot. They would anoint people with oil, and that was to say, you, David, are going to be the next king. And you know what happened? All of a sudden, the power of God fell on David in a mighty strong way. It was amazing. Like, he just kind of glowed for a minute. It was pretty awesome.
Wow. Now, what does David look like?
Well, he's kind of small. I think he kind of maybe didn't eat as much as the other ones. Maybe the other ones were bigger and they got to the table faster. So he's not real big.
So why do you think God wanted to choose somebody who was smaller? Don't you think he would want a big, strong man to be king?
Well, I thought that so too, but you know what? As I remember God, I've known God a long time. He's been in my life, and God does not always look at how tall you are, or how smart you are, or how big you are, or how pretty you are. He looks at your heart. Can everyone touch your heart? God looks at your heart. And he was looking at David's heart. He knew David from when he was born all the way up till now. He was watching, and he was learning about David all this time.
So, I heard earlier you said that David was a shepherd?
Yeah, back in the Bible times, they had shepherds. They had sheep. And that's how they would, they didn't have barns. Raise your hand if you've ever seen a barn with a pasture and sheep in it. Nowadays, there's, sheep in a pasture, they stay in it. Well, not back where we lived. Back then, they had a shepherd, and the shepherd would take the sheep from this place to this place, and he would find the best grass and the best water. So it was a really important job, and at nighttime, no, there was no barn to put him in, so he had to stay out all night with the sheep.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of responsibility. Why do you think God wanted to choose a sheep herder? Is there any danger in sheep herding?
Well, there actually is. Sheep. Does anybody know anything about sheep? Yeah? Are they? They're probably the smartest animals on the planet, right? No. No, sheep are known to be, can I use the word, dumb? No. They are. Sheep just don't get it. I mean, you try and put them somewhere safe, and off they go. So, a shepherd was really important, and a shepherd, when he was this age, and maybe like Devin's age out there, he had to have the responsibility. I used to remember seeing him through the window, and he was only probably this tall, and he would gather up his lunch for the day and head off and watch the sheep, and he won't come home until like a couple days later. So he had a lot of responsibility.
Wow. Now, sometimes kings have to lead their armies in war. Now, I don't know if a sheep herder is really fit to lead an army.
Well, even though David was really small and maybe not the biggest like his brothers, one night, do you guys want to hear the story? One night I decided, I heard a strange noise coming from a hill behind my house. And I thought, you know what, I should just go to sleep, but it just kept waking me up. So guess what I did? I went outside, I snuck through the pasture area, and I got got behind a tree, and I looked over, and I saw David with all of his sheep laid down. I saw David pick up this funny-looking instrument, and he started strumming it. And all of a sudden, I heard this voice, this beautiful voice. At first, I'm like, what is going on? And then I heard him start singing to God. And it was songs and poems he made up. It kind of went like this. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. And he kept going. And it was beautiful. And guess what? It was nighttime. There were stars. No flashlights. And it was peaceful. And you could feel God's presence there. And I smiled real big. And I looked around. And all the sheep were quiet. And David was so close to God, and God wrote all these songs. And you know what? It's really lonely when you're out there with sheep. Let me tell you, if you could get a little crazy because no one's out there with you except bah, and that's not exciting. But David worshiped God out there, even when he was your age, Reese, and Bella, and Haven. He was worshiping Jesus. He was being faithful, and all those sheep, and God was watching him. Just like God is watching you, Bella and Rachel. God's watching you be faithful. When you have jobs at home and different things Mom and Dad want you to do and be with your brothers and sisters, God's watching you, Chevy, to see if you're faithful to Jesus. And he's going to help you. But, it's not all fun and games and singing out there, though.
What does that mean?
Well, another night wasn't so good. It was kind of scary, actually.
Scary?
I still
Herding
can't really
sheep?
think about that incident. Are you guys sure you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, phew. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, I was woken up in the middle of the night with this. Yeah. Whew, just send shivers up my spine still. And guess what? Of course, nosy neighbor me. I had to find out what was going on.
It was the neighbor snoring, right?
Well, no, even though he is loud, whew, that's a whole other new show. He needs some breathing strips, I'm pretty sure. Whew. Anyways, I go out there, and David's sheep are running around like crazies. And David, little David, all of a sudden, I see him go like this, and right in front of him, there was this big, huge bear. A bear. Could you imagine a bear?
He ran, right? I would have ditched the sheep and got out of there.
Well, he only had his harp, and he didn't really want to destroy that. So, he didn't run.
So, what exactly did he do?
Well, there was no guns back there or any larger, missiles or anything. So, he took his bare hands. Show me your hands, kids. He took these bare hands, and he grabbed the bear, and he killed it.
With his hands.
With his hands. It was a miracle happening right in front of my eyes. He killed the bear. And guess what? He protected. It didn't get any of his sheep that night. It was amazing.